Hi, I'm Temple Kamisis.
I'm Derek Rotzenbeck. Welcome to Arts on Air NYC.
We are delighted to present to you tonight Boyd Meets Girl. And would you like to tell them about our mission?
Well, we have created this during the time of COVID, where there are no venues for musicians and artists to perform. So we decided to open up our home in Hudson Heights, Manhattan, where we have a rooftop terrace to artists of all walks of life to perform live again for our audiences here and abroad.
And as he mentioned, yes, all of our artists are out of work right now due to COVID, so please consider donating if you're enjoying this performance. Yeah? And I think we'll let him take away from there.
Boyd Meets Girl.
Boyd Meets Girl!
Well, good evening. Thank you all very much for joining us. My name is Rupert Boyd.
And I'm Laura Metcalf.
And we go by the name Boyd Meets Girl. So that very first piece was by one of our favorite composers, Jaime Zenamon. He is originally from Bolivia, but now living in Brazil. And hello, Jaime, if you're watching us tonight.
So next we're going to have a couple of tunes from the female perspective. The first one is a beautiful song by Franz Schubert, written when I believe he was only 16 or 17. And it really revolutionized the art form of the art song. It was the first time that such a song written just for voice and piano had been so emotional and so intense. And this song tells the story of Gretchen, a young woman who's fallen in love, and she's working out her feelings at her spinning wheel. So you'll hear the perpetual spinning motion played in the guitar until right about in the middle of the piece, she stops the wheel from spinning and she cries out, and then she decides that she can handle this and she gets it spinning again and keeps going. So this is Schubert's Gretchen am Spinnrade. So next we're going to do another song for you. I should mention at this point that there's not a lot written for cello and guitar specifically, so we do a lot of arranging of our favorite songs, which is really great because we just get to play the music that we love. And so the next song is by Beyoncé. I have been a huge fan of Beyoncé forever, and Rupert and I decided to arrange her song called Pray You Catch Me. It's a couple hundred years after Gretchen Spinnrade, but it's no less emotionally powerful. This song is at the opening of Beyonce's album Lemonade, and it deals with her feelings around her husband's suspected infidelity. So it's very intense. There's a lot of sort of whispering around corners in this song. And we've actually reimagined it quite a bit into sort of a work of contemporary chamber music, so that whether or not you are a Beyoncé fan and familiar with the original song, you can enjoy our version of Beyoncé's Pray You Catch Me.
Well, now for something completely different. We're going to play a work from my home country. And even though sort of we're not speaking to that many people in public these days, already today 3 people have guessed the wrong place as to where I grew up. So if you're guessing anywhere that's not Australia, you got it wrong. I am Australian born and bred, but been in the States for quite a while, so maybe that's done a number on my accent. But we're going to play a work by an Australian composer named Marian Budos. And he lives in the town in which I grew up, which is Canberra. And he saw us play a couple of years ago and came up to us after the show, enthusiastically said, I would love to write you a piece. And just a few weeks later, in our email inbox, arrived a brand new piece. It's called A New York Minute. And so it's very apt in that respect, but it actually goes for about 4.5 minutes. So I'm just here. It's not a very long piece, but it's got a lot of pages. So I am having to just make sure none of them blow away in the wind when we don't want them to. But it's a really great piece. It really captures the essence of New York. It's very lively, but on a more subtle basis. The piece is ever evolving and ever changing, just like it is when you catch a subway ride or even just walk around the city streets, that every time you turn a corner, the city just changes just a little bit. And so I think you'll hear both the energy and that just changingness of New York in this piece. This is A New York Minute by Marian Budos. Well, so next we're going to play a work by two of the greatest composers from the past 100 years or so, and that's Lennon and McCartney, otherwise known as the Beatles. This is one of their classic pieces. I think it actually is one of the most covered pieces in the history of music. I'll give it away. It's Blackbird. And what's interesting about the piece, there is a classical guitar connection to Blackbird. That apparently one day John and Paul were sitting around the studio, someone had given them a Spanish guitar or a classical guitar and a book on teach yourself how to play classical guitar. And so they were sitting there sort of picking out some of the melodies, and they came across the Bourrée by Bach, which any serious guitar student has played a million times. And apparently Paul took it home that night and just played with it for hours and hours and hours, and came back the next day with Blackbird.
So next we're going to do something that's new to us, not new exactly. As I mentioned, we do a lot of our own arranging, and during this time of staying home, we've been using the time when our 2-year-old son is napping to make arrangements of pieces and songs we love. So the first Arabesque by Debussy is just this gorgeous, glorious piano piece, solo piano piece. I have always wished that I could play piano, but I really can't. So it's fun to arrange piano music for our instrumentation. So this is actually the first time we're playing this in public. Debussy's Arabesque, and because Arabesque is a ballet move, we're going to dedicate this to our wonderful hosts, Temple and Derek. Thank you guys so much for having us. Thank you. So apparently the autumnal equinox is on September 22nd this year. So we're hanging on to summer as long as we possibly can. And this beautiful, amazing sunset here on this gorgeous rooftop in New York. So we're just gonna do the beloved Gershwin classic, Summertime.
Well, thank you. That does actually bring us to our final piece this evening. Before we play it, though, we'd very much like to thank Derek and Temple and Arts on Air for having us tonight. And thank you to everybody out there for tuning in. It's an interesting time to play a concert without an audience. But here we are, one final piece, oldie but a goodie, one of our favorites. It's called Human Nature.
That's about. Thank you so much. Have a good night.